Hey guys, Nicole here. So I mentioned in my last video, my last scrapbooking video, which was an album flip through, that I was going to do a quick video just showing you kind of how I have my albums stashed around my home. We live in a smaller home now than what we used to. I don't have a scrapbook room where I can keep all of my finished albums and all my products in the same place. And so I'm gonna just kind of show you how I have them kind of stashed around the house in different places, but also really the main objective is to kind of show you how I have them organized by color based on theme. And so that is how I organize my layouts is I have certain categories that I fit my layouts into, and it's worked really well for me. And so what you're looking at here is actually one of the main themes, and really there's these here, and then there's a couple more there. So we are really trying to, my girls and I have this goal to try to read a lot of the books we've accumulated and pass them along, either goodwill them or donate them or whatever. And so eventually my goal is to have these emptied of books by just reading them and getting rid of them. And so then I think my goal is then to have, I'll have enough room to continue to add to this organization base. This is a Calyx unit from IKEA. I have multiple of these kind of throughout the house. They're what I had made up my old scrapbook room with. And so they fit these albums perfectly. And so as you can see, all of these here are black or black and white. And these are all my what I call together time albums. So any layout that is featuring a picture or a story that is focused on relationships or things we do together as a family, that kind of thing goes into these albums. Now, if I do like a family vacation, that maybe it's a separate album. But like if it's a story about the girls doing something together, it goes into these albums. If the focus of the story is about one daughter in particular, they'll go into her albums, and I'll show you those here in a little bit. And so these are actual organized chronologically. So I have mentioned I don't scrapbook chronologically, but I did a huge reorganization with my scrapbook albums a couple years ago where I went through and put all my layouts in order. So what I need to do next is just actually get them in order because they aren't placed in order right now, but I need to get their binders marked. I need to get them marked by dates. I need to do it in a way that isn't permanent because the tricky part is, and I'm always going in and adding in more. So because I don't scrapbook chronologically. And I also find the different ephemera pieces from different things, of the girls' past that I want to insert into these in the time frame in which they happened. And so I need to have a little bit of leniency. And so I just need to maybe find a clip, put dates on them so I can know what dates are in what album. And then this is my plan anyway. And then it can be changed over time if I need to. If one gets too full, I can transfer on to the next one and transfer on down, kind of thing. That's a great thing about 3-ring binders. I talked about this in the last video, is 3-ring binders allow you to change up your albums as you need to, and it's much, much easier than like the strap bound or any of those types of albums. And so these are all, and as you can see, I could have just stuck with all pure black, but I like albums. I like how cute they are. I like different designs. And so you can see I have these Amy Tangerine ones with the cameras, the ampersand ones, and then these black and white striped ones. Now I think 4 of these are our recent Disney trip that I'm still working on. And so I decided to keep those in here so I can just grab them if I need to, if I want to work on some pages or put away some pages. So again, it's not like it has to be the exact same album, but black and white is the theme for our family together time layouts. Now the reason I chose for these to be in our living room space is because they're black and white, and they're a very neutral color. And so we have black in this room. And so you can see it meshes fine with the other things that we have in this room. And so, like the bright pink, not necessarily, and the bright aqua blue or whatever. So I chose, and plus these are a really good picture of our family. The girls' albums are more like, again, I said, specifically things about them. And these are going to be your more general stories about us as a family. So for me, it just made sense for them to be in our family room. So really quickly, I'm just going to pan. I'm going to try not to make you guys ill by moving too quickly, but this isn't scrapbook album related, but just an idea of how I have stuff stashed all over in our home. In this trunk here, I have all of my scraps plus a whole bunch of kits in there. And then in here, I have a whole bunch of scrapbook supplies in here. I used to actually have my scrap room or my desk in here where I did my office work and my scrapbooking as well. And I moved that. I didn't love that here. I moved it into the bedroom because I felt like I could kind of close that off if I needed to. I didn't like having an office mixed in with the living room space. It just wasn't for me. And so, so I have some scrapbooks stashed here and here in our living room. No one would know otherwise. Moving along, our dining room, I have this. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try not to make you too dizzy. So I have this old piece. It's an old stereo. It was my grandparents. So this thing's, been around for a while. And on the right side, it actually opens. And because it's the size set up to hold records, right? Like that's what this is meant to. It's big enough to fit albums. And so in here, I have basically I call them my one and done albums. So they're albums that maybe had a theme to them, and some of them were the spine bound or whatever. Disney albums, just albums that had a specific theme to them that I'm not going to be continuously adding to. My best friend's wedding, a trip to Alaska, vacation albums, things like that. So these are albums, they're accessible if I want to get them out and look at them, but they're not albums I need to keep adding to because they're done. And they're not part of a series of albums. They're just like I said, they're a one and done album. So there's those stashed away in there. Okay, sorry guys. And then moving along, here I have, sorry guys. So here I have this is actually a piece that was my grandparents. It's really dusty right now, you guys. I'm sorry. I gotta clean. The girls just went back to school today, so we've been busy just getting them prepped for that. I'm actually have a couple days off to myself where I could actually get some cleaning and stuff done. So I apologize for the dust. But this is a piece that actually belonged to my grandparents. And I thankfully, my parents had it, and then when they passed away, it was just a piece I really liked because you don't see them very often. I don't know history of it, if it was handmade by somebody, but I think they used it for probably magazines and things like that. And so what I did is I have all my Ancestral albums. So a couple that my mom did as well as the ones that I've started are underneath here. And then this is actually an old window that perfectly fit a 12 by 12 layout. And so what I did is I just put one of my favorite layouts of my great-grandparents. Yes, my great-grandparents, a layout I did about them as and made this a decorative piece, but also a storage piece. So the decorative piece is an ancestral photo, and then the storage piece is storing my ancestral scrapbooks. And so I love that. And I love how it looks. I love how I just love it. I love that old window. It's that perfect distressed look that's natural and beautiful. And so this, I don't know if this is staying here. I did some rearranging, and I don't love this here. But I had this window kind of in our living room area and had a couple layouts on there. I don't know if I'm going to keep it here. I think I might put this away for a little while. It just gets a little too cluttery when I have too much stuff sitting on the floor. I don't love that. And so anyway, it's just me. Okay, guys, moving along. You're also getting a tour of our home. Who knew? But I guess that's what I'm trying to show you is how I have them stored in the house here. So you're thinking, what are you storing in the kitchen? Well, this house is older. It's an 1890 house, and I that's why I love it. It is just, you can see it has a lot of the original trim, and some of it's painted, but It has a lot of just original value to it. The floors, not the kitchen, but like the wood floors in the living room and dining room, and that's why I love it. So one of the great things about this house is it has this ginormous old pantry. And so I decided that I would never, ever, ever have any need or desire to get to the very top shelf. And so I store some scrapbooks up there. And so these are, and they're far enough away, it's kind of quartered off from like where I do cooking and stuff. So I wasn't really worried about grease or any of that stuff. These are actually all of my mom's albums. And so I, of course, got all of those when she passed away, except for the ones that were my brother specifically, like he got those, but any of just general family ones I got. And so these are all her albums. And so I love them. I have them. I'm able to keep them somewhere where I can access them. And so those are up there. That's where I have those stored. I didn't need the storage. I'll show you here how much storage this kitchen has. And so I really didn't need even those things that you don't use very often. I didn't need even that because this kitchen has like a ginormous amount of storage. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cabinets. I think probably that date back to when the house was built. They've been painted obviously, but so I'm like, I have this whole empty space. So why not have scrapbook albums in the kitchen? Right? Okay. So then, so here's kind of where I have the bulk of my albums. This is our, my husband's office, but he gave me like a wall, and thankfully this has really high ceilings. And so as you can see, I got two full calyx, or a full calyx unit and then a half calyx unit that I just put horizontally. I used to have them vertical, and they just fit on top of each other. So I'm gonna just move in here so I can get a better square on view without showing you too much of the mess. My husband isn't, I mean, he's kind of just messy. But as you can see, most of the mess in here is mine. I still have some stuff I'm trying to figure out where to put it and put away. So if you, behind these piles, everything's really nice and organized, but these are just piles that I just have to keep figuring out where to put stuff. So it's still a work in progress. This tub right here, you guys, is all layouts that need to be put away. I talked about that in my last video. I have some work to do there. And some layouts to put away for sure. So we'll see if maybe I'll get that done tomorrow. Okay, but really quickly, let's talk about the albums I have up here. So as I mentioned before, I have my albums organized by theme and by color. And so I talked about, the last video I did was about the About Me. And like I said, that's kind of the one section that isn't super consistent color-wise. So they are here from here, but they're my Nicole style type of albums, and I love them all. I didn't want to get rid of them just because I didn't have multiple of them, and so I just decided that I'll stick in this color scheme and these will be my albums. But as you can see, there are color schemes elsewhere. So here we have red for Christmas. So I do, because we take so many pictures at Christmas, it made sense for me to have albums just for Christmas, and because it's very themed, it's a very themed supply that I use for those, and so that just made sense to me. So then I have these here are all gray. Again, this is a gray chevron. This is a solid gray. It's all good. I mix it up. Those are layouts about time with friends. So it may be my husband and I with other couples, and maybe me with my best friends. Those are our friends albums. And then the Nicole albums, green, these bright green ones are the Mackin family. So my husband's side of the family. So any family reunions or just, pictures of time we spent with them go into green. This plaid, which I guess I didn't realize it, but I guess apparently it's technically a Christmas album. And so I've had trouble finding more of them, but I need to try to find one more. And these are actually mini albums that I did, of him. And then so these are my husband's album. Navy blue is 4th of July. I take a lot of 4th of July, a decent amount of 4th of July pictures. I wouldn't say a lot. So I don't see, I don't, max, it's probably going to be like one or two albums probably. The gold and like canvas is like my side of the family. So like I think I have maybe the canvas, I don't remember how I have it, but I have like the Gardner side and the Dyer side separated. So my maternal and paternal grandparents separated out, because we have a lot of cousins and things like that. Purple is fall and Halloween picture or layouts. The floral one is spring, so like Easter or definitely like spring themed layouts, but mostly I would say probably Easter layouts. The heart one is Valentine's themed layouts. Because we do, I still have kids in school that are well, I think they're done, but we still have Valentine's pictures. And then the red and with the white polka dot are our first Disney trip. That is completed. And then the one on the right there, I think was a per project life one that I did. I didn't finish the whole year, but I got most of it done. So when I do like projects like that, then that's when I, use up like the really cute albums that I don't have a whole bunch. I only have one of them. And so there are going to be some albums that I only have one of one design because it's a specifically themed album. Okay, so now we're into pink. Pink is my daughter Keaton. And as you can see, she's got a lot of albums. As you'll notice with my other daughter, each daughter has a glittery album like this, and those are their dance photos. And so they did dance up until 2 years ago. They started when they were like 3 and went up until 2 years ago. And they are 7th grade and sophomore right now. It's something that we kind of had to give up. Our schedules just didn't allow to stay in our lives. Unfortunately, I'm so sad. I really hope that they would do it through their senior years, but it just isn't feasible. It's a 30-minute away drive, and then just fitting it in with everything else we have going on didn't work. But so they each have a glittery album that will have their dance pictures. And then I also have another project that I do with their dance photos as well. Anyway, so pink is my daughter Keaton. So anytime I do a layout that is focused on her life, anything goes into that. And then another Project Life album, and then I don't even know what this one is. Oh, I think this was a Project Life album. And then this is actually a college album of mine. So this actually will go up with those. As you can see, it's in that color scheme. That works really well together. I just have it down here because it's an album that I'm working on. It's a more specifically, a specific topic. Then I have wedding albums. I have this glittery silver and black and white are gonna be my wedding albums. And then brown is, I think the golden canvas up there are the Garner side, and I think the brown is the Dyer side. I think that's right. So of my side of the family. So I don't have hardly any pictures of Dan's like relatives beyond his parents. And so he just won't have, like his family won't have quite as many albums. It'll just, any pictures, ancestral pictures I have of him will probably just go into the Mac and Green albums. But I have like a lot more pictures. I have boxes and boxes of pictures of both sides of the family. So, and then we have this aqua blue, which is my other daughter, Mallory, my youngest Mallory. She has lots of albums going as well. So they will have plenty of memories to take with them when they get married. And I'm hoping that one day they will definitely cherish these and cherish the fact that I documented so many of their memories for them that they may have forgotten. Anyway, so that is how I have them organized. So it looks like a mishmash of albums, but really there's a rhyme and reason to the craziness. And, but when you kind of look more closely, you'll see there's, a bunch of green ones, a bunch of purple ones, a bunch of pink ones, and that is how I have them organized. And so that is it, you guys. I just wanted to share with you how I organize those. And normally I'm better about putting my layouts away right away. Usually I'll get a pile of maybe 20 to 30 and I'll get them put away. But because we've been so kind of moving things around constantly, or I've been, deciding, like changing things up on where I organize my albums and how I have them organized, they haven't been easy to get to. And so this is my most recent organization of my albums, and I think this is going to work awesome for me because I just need them to be accessible, to pull off a shelf, look through them, pull off the shelf, put layouts away in them, pull them off a shelf, and display them in our home. And I finally have it now to a place where I can do that, because they've been kind of stashed away in really weird corners, and that hasn't worked for me. And so hopefully I can get those layouts put away now, because they're much more accessible. And I just use the space that they take up a lot of space, but they're important to me, and they're something that I value. And so I just made room for them. And yeah, I have a lot of home decor that's in storage in our shed, because I chose my albums to be displayed over that, and I'm totally good with that, because I appreciate them much more, being able to look at them and have them. And then what I will do is also, when say it's my daughter's birthday month, I will find a place in the home to display maybe her most recent albums, or maybe her baby album, because I have them organized chronologically, so I can focus on different things by choosing which albums I display in maybe a more obvious area. And so I'll do that. So when Halloween and fall comes, I basically make them part of my home decor. So I'll bring out the purple albums, and they will be part of my Halloween decor, but it's something that the kids can look through and look back at their past costumes. And for Christmas, I'll bring out some Christmas albums. I'll bring out my December dailies that I've completed. I'll bring those out and display those. For 4th of July, I'll bring out the 4th of July album, and that'll be I'll display it with some books about the Constitution and founding of our country, and it just becomes part of my home decor. And that's kind of the fun thing for me that I love, is that something I've made and cherished so much is part of my home decorating. And so I just love that so much. So that is it, you guys. I hope I didn't make you too terribly dizzy, but I just wanted to show you how I have my albums organized, how I have them by color, and the different categories that I use that really work well for me. I've really been able to stick with those for many, many, many years, and that's worked really, really well. And so thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back. I'm going to probably do another flip through today. And so my kids are back to school today. I have the house to myself actually all week. And so it's just easier to do videos when I'm here by myself and don't have a bunch of noise and things going on. And so kind of be watching for maybe quite a few videos from me for this week. Appreciate you guys watching so much. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm not always great about replying very quickly. Sometimes I'll down the road, I'll sit down and it'll be like a YouTube afternoon where I go through and answer people's questions or respond to people. But I do read them. I do appreciate your wonderful comments about my About Me albums, my flip through. That was very transparent, but very fun to go through all those albums and see all the different styles through the years, and also the funny things I've documented about myself. I appreciate your guys's your comments on that video. I'm glad that you guys like to watch people go through their completed albums, because it's going to be a really fun thing for me to do. I love going back and doing that. So watch for some more. They'll be coming up. Thank you guys so much, and happy scrapping. Bye bye.